Hi everyone, this is Logan Douglas with DB Services, and today I will show you how to integrate Claris FileMaker with an SQL database using ESS, and I will give some tips and tricks on how to use ESS efficiently. Now before you start, make sure your SQL database is set up properly and that you have the required ODBC drivers installed and set up. Claris has some documentation on how to set this part up, which I have linked in my article. So once you have that, you'll click on this checkbox and then click Go to Sample. Next, you'll want to set up your external data source. To do that, you will click File, Manage, External Data Sources. And then once that window pops up, you will click New. And then you want to call it whatever you want. I want to call this ESS Demo. Make sure you check ODBC. Put in your desired DSN, which I have right here. We'll select that, and then you want to put in your username and password if you have that set up. So then you will hit OK. Once you have that data source set up, you'll hit OK in this menu, and then you will go to File, Manage, Database, and then go to the Relationships tab, and then you will click on this Add a Table button. In the data source dropdown, you will choose ESS Demo, and then you will choose whatever table you want to use for this. In this case, I have a table called cats that I will be using for this demo. So then I will hit OK, and here is that table. And then I will hit OK again. So now you will need some kind of list view layout in order to actually display the data from that ESS shadow table. So here is my list layout. As you can see, it's a very basic list layout that uses the ESS shadow table as its data source. And the next thing we're going to want to do is make some changes to scripts. So you'll want to go up to Scripts, Script Workspace, and then we're going to start with the startup script. This is the script that runs when this file initially opens. And if you look at this section here, it says preload table data. And the reason why you'll want to do that when using ESS is because when you go to a layout that uses an ESS shadow table for the first time, it has to load that entire data set. It's just how ESS works. And so it could be quite inconvenient to be a user and to go to a layout for the first time. You might be busy working on something and have to wait for it to load a really long table. So what this step does is it goes to that layout that uses the ESS shadow table on startup, and it will do all of those layouts so that you can get all of that done when you initially open the file. So for the rest of the time you're in the file, there will be no more delays. So for this, we'll want to select the layout. We'll choose cats list or whatever you chose to name your list layout. And as you can see, it goes to this list layout and then goes right back to setup when you first open the file. So that's all this script does. And I will go ahead and save my changes. And the next script we're going to be making changes to is this ESS search and sort script. Now, what you might have noticed when you initially check the box and click the button is this sample layout that has this search bar right here. If you type something into it like test, a search button appears. So this is going to be demonstrating how to do a proper search using data from an ESS shadow table. So that's what this next script is going to do. So I'll open the script workspace again. Let's go into full screen. And as you can see, the script grabs the search value from that global field, and then it goes to the layout that you want to. And here's an important step right here. You'll notice you go into find mode before you go to that layout, and that's just so that it doesn't have to load all of the fields all at once when you initially go to that layout. When you go into find mode first, it doesn't load any of the data it just puts you into the layout, which is much faster, especially when you're using ESS. So we're going to want to fix this broken layout here. So click on layout and then choose your list layout and then click OK. So now it'll enter find mode and then go to this cats list layout. Now this next part here is very important for ESS, and this is to use exact match searching, so the double equals in quotes instead of a standard find when using ESS, because if you don't do that, then it will throw wildcard characters into the SQL query that is generated when you actually perform that find, which especially on SQL databases that have a lot of fields, that can take a very long time and it's very inefficient, especially if you're performing a lot of finds. So we're going to fix this. We're going to click on this. We're going to choose our cats table. And I think we'll have this search for breed. So then click OK. And then we have it just perform the find. So it'll search for breeds that are exactly the value that you put in the search bar. We have an error trap here that checks to see if the found count from that previous search is 0, then you get a dialog and it sends you back to the original layout. And then down here we have a sort, and I left this one as dialog on so that you can choose what field you want to sort by. And right here I wrote a note that says sorting should always occur after the find, so there are less values to sort through. And this is just a general good practice when doing sorts in FileMaker, but it's especially important when you are using an ESS shadow table. So then we wrap the script up just like that. So I will go ahead and save. And then I will close out of this. And now, for example, if we want to search for British Shorthair, for example, and we click search, and we can choose what to sort this by. So I want to sort this by the birth date of the cat in ascending order. So then I will hit sort. And another thing to keep in mind before I hit sort is that you'll want to limit how many fields you're sorting by when it comes to an ESS shadow table, because sorting, especially with multiple fields, can take a very long time as it has to turn those into SQL queries. So then I'm going to click sort, and then it takes us to that list layout and shows us all the cats that are British Shorthair, and it sorts it in ascending order by birth date. And so I would encourage you to kind of mess around with some different sorts, maybe choose a different field to use as the search. And that's more or less all there is to it. If you choose to use all of these techniques, you'll find that your ESS FileMaker file will run much better than if you don't do most of those things in the script. So that's about all.